How's it going, everyone? Sinister here of the gamer section, bringing you another review. And today's game is KANO Bridge of Spirits. This game is exclusive for the PlayStations 4 and 5, but I'll be focusing mainly on the PS5 version. And of course, to break everything down to you, we're going to start off with the story. And the story goes, KANO, she's set place in the forest. She's mainly a spiritual guide, here to lead the departed from the physical world to the spiritual world. However, she's not alone along the way because she'll meet, of course, other creatures that will help her out in her quest. And also, you can notice that she has a scar on her hand. As go further in the game, it probably expands the story of how she got that scar on it in the first place. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the graphics. I mean, graphically, this game looks amazing, especially on the PlayStation 5. Running silky smooth, 60 frames per second. I mean, just the environment, just the way the camera moves around. I mean, you can see the smoothness, especially, KANO moves along, how she runs and how she jumps and everything. I mean, it's fast and fluid. I mean, of course, the detail. I mean, of course, detailing KANO herself, especially in the cutscenes and how she interacts with other, NPCs along the way. Of course, speaking of the cutscenes, it expands the story along the way. Especially, you pick up a rock for the first time. You see how they interact with you and how they can help you out along the way. But of course, more of that in the gameplay. But however, graphically, it looks amazing. I mean, just great use of shadow. Of course, you can set up the HDR however you see fit. Like, you can brighten it, you can darken it, however you see fit. And now, just go ahead and move on to the gameplay. And after experiment with the controls and how the game feels and everything. I mean, so far I got a good experience out of it. I mean, gameplay wise, I mean, I get a little Legend of Zelda vibes out of it. Just I mean, how the game looks and how it sets and everything. And of course, there's a little mixture of Nathan, Uncharted in there. I mean, why I mentioned that, by the way, because there's a lot of ledges that Kenna grabs onto, and the way she grabs on the ledges like that kind of reminds me of Nathan Drake. Things like that. Of course, there's other game characters, the way they grab ledges along the way, but I just use Nathan Drake as an example. Because pretty much like Kenna, she can go run around, like run, she can jump. Of course, she can double jump just to reach further ledges. However, along the way, like she can beat up with these creatures called the rots, and these creatures will help you out. Basically, all I gotta do is like the way just to find them, and all you gotta do is just collect them, and they'll help you out along the way. But also, like, if you get enough of them, they can band together and just help you out. Reach, like, get the ledges that are hard to reach. They can team up, move boulders and everything that, just like I mentioned earlier, help you get those hard to reach items. Get to like climb up further ledges, just to help you along your way. However, she also has these attacks with her staff because basically that's her main weapon of choice. I mean, the staff can be upgraded if you collect enough items. Basically, that staff can be turned into a bow, for example, just to take out enemies farther away. But, however, mainly her staff is basically used for offense and defense. For offense, she has 3 modes of attack. Light, heavy, and special. The light attacks is like, quick melees. Like, especially it's effective against weaker enemies. Like little quick strikes, you can, take them out more quickly. You also got a heavy attack, just like for medium to stronger enemies. It's just basically just to weaken them up, then follow it through with a quicker strike. But also you have a dodge move, like for defensive purposes. But the staff itself, like on defense, can help you like with the shield. It protects you against enemy attacks because it's especially needed against harder enemies as you further progress in the game. You also have a melee basically not melee, but a parry attack. That parry attack is crucial because basically you gotta time it right. You just basically use deflect the enemy attack and just follow through like counter with one of your own moves. This is especially helpful in boss battles along the way, but that way you can always learn their moves, their patterns. That way you can strategize on how to take them out that way. Speaking of that, basically I have nothing like no flaws as I progress through the game so far, but I mean, just like a little tricky part, like for those at the beginning, they may find it hard like to get used to like using the rots characters, but I mean, as you experiment along the way, I mean, it's not hard at all. I mean, you'll have fun at this game because anybody who's fans of like Legend of Zelda will love this game, in itself. All right, down to the score. I give this game a 5 out of 5. For the latest news and reviews, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.